Welcome to all new Look Back in Amber. From exclusive interviews to interesting insights. Since 2010, we've been the best place to be for all things audio for us, Newport County fans. Coming up in the next half an hour or so, I'm Luke and I'm with Ramsey and Stephen, and we had an exclusive catch-up on Newport County's number 28, Mickey Demetriou.
So we're going to be talking to you about loads of stuff today. Hopefully some fun stuff, some silly stuff, and some really stuff that probably fans want to know about the inner workings of Newport County and what a Newport County footballer's life is like.
Yeah,
so,
no problem.
What was your route into football? So when did you first find out there was this thing called football?
When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I think it was. My brother used to play as well when he was younger, so I just went to watch him play growing up, and then just started kicking about with my dad and my brother in the garden, really. I played for the same sort of team growing up as my brother did, so it was quite enjoyable. I stayed from sort of under 6 level to under 16s, so I did my all through my sort of growing up was with the same team.
So what happened then after the under 16s bit?
I wasn't sure what was going to happen really, because it was just Sunday league football. I didn't come through an academy or anything like that. I got offered a trial at my local town Worthing football club, their under 18s team, just coming out of school. Thankfully I got into that. And look, if I didn't get into that, I don't really know what I would have done. I probably would have tried to go somewhere else, but it was easy. Thankfully, I got into that and I stayed there for 2 years through to under 18s, and then after that, I managed to play in the first team for a season. When did you become then full time? Which club was it? Well, my first full time was at Kidderminster Harriers, so that was when I was at 21. I joined there in 2011. I left Worthing, I took the progression up to Bognor Regis for a year as well, and then I was lucky enough to go out to the Glen Hoddle Academy. That was kind of full-time as well, because it was out in Spain, and it was 6 days a week with a day off, as most football clubs are. And when I came back, I went to Eastbourne Borough, and that was still sort of part-time, Tuesday, Thursdays. And then, my first full-time was Kidderminster Harriers, and I was there. I was lucky enough to be there for 3 years, made over 100 appearances with them, had some good times, good FA Cup runs, runners up. Unfortunately, we lost out in the semi-final of the playoffs against Wrexham, and then obviously at the time Newport went and beat them in the final. So at the time I didn't know it was going to play out that way. So thankfully they went up that year. Going back to the Glen Hoddle Academy, how did you get involved with that, and did you meet the great man? I did, yeah. He was there for a lot of the time, to be fair. Obviously he was flying back and forth from Spain for his Sky work, BT work and stuff like that. But no, it was a strange one really. I played against Worthing for Bognor, and they were actually there looking at the Worthing striker, and I must have had a good game. And a couple of weeks later they rang me saying we want you to come and trial with us. And me coming out of sort of just county league football at the time, it was Ryman Premier, Ryman South as well, and I was going up against boys that were get released from professional clubs, so everyone was 18, 19, 20, all coming out of their pro clubs, League 1, League 2, Championship, Premier League, academy sides. So for me, I wasn't expecting to get in, but I did, thankfully, and I did 6 months out in Spain, which was very good, and we had coaches. Glenn was there himself, Graham Ricks, Nigel Spackman, Dave Besant. So the calibre of coaches there, it was only going to help me progress as a player. Yeah, it's a massive stellar lineup. Were you kind of in the era of Glenn Hoddle being the England manager? Because he was in that role for a bit. A little bit, yeah. I can't say too much about it because I wasn't. Not that I wasn't interested in it, but I can't remember that far back. So. Yeah, sadly I can. I think you did all right. It's a bit squidgy towards the end, but yeah, he seemed like a really, really nice guy. Yeah, he was a lovely bloke. Pretty talented manager, clearly. And a talented player. So for us to be able to learn off of people like that was a real benefit for us. From Kidderminster then, Shrewsbury, playing Tranmere on your debut, and then promotion to League One. Yes. Yeah, that was a very good year for me, obviously. My first full-time professional league club at Shrewsbury. We changed the team around quite a lot. I think he brought 17 new players in at the time, and it was brilliant. So that promotion bit, because Newport County want to be at that level now, currently League 2, would love to be League 1 and then go into the leagues. Can you compare getting promotion into that league with where County are right now? We are close. It is all about the togetherness of the team. Obviously the quality is going to be there. It has to be there to win football games. But we had a very good change room back there, and everyone was on it every day of the week. So that's we've got boys that have been promoted in our change room now that say the same thing. And look, if it's about the togetherness, it's about the mentality of winning football games. That's one of the most important things. We had some big names in the Shrewsbury changing room that have been there and done that at higher leagues. So for them to come and play with us was only going to benefit us. So that they helped us get us over the line. And that's one thing that's the aim at the moment, isn't it? It's 7 years down the line and we're still trying to do it. So hopefully at some point very, very soon we can do.
Can you compare? Can you say it's easier to get promoted to League One there compared to harder, or is it comparable?
No, it's always been very hard. Look, we came second. I think it was Burton that won the league at the time, and we went through a little patch where we weren't winning games, but we managed to get ourselves out of that as we did, and we hit a good run of form towards the end of the season and got us into the top 3 at that point. We've been there or thereabouts. We just haven't been able to get over that line because it's a tough line to cross because there's 23 other teams that want to do it.
It just seems to me that there's always so many different variants and variables in anything, but certainly football, and you never know what you're going to get until you actually start playing that brand new season, do you?
No, exactly. Look, since straight after the Great Escape, the ambition of the club was to go further, and we've had some good seasons, and like I said, we've been very close. We just haven't been able to get over that line for one reason or another.
Yeah. Just going to roll back to the moment where you started your career with us. Stephen, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if you could talk to us about how you came to sign for Newport County, coming into the team at that time, the journey that you've been on from then till now.
Yeah, it was in January 2017 at Graham Wesley. He tried to sign me in the October, I think it was, when he first took over.
Yeah, because he was injured, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was injured. Yeah, I was off the back of I tore my meniscus in my knee in the April, and then when I actually broke my foot in the August as well. So for me, I was off for 4 or 5 months leading into January, and look, when he rang me in the October, I said, look, I'm injured at the moment, as I can't do anything. I can't come and play. I can't train. So he left me until the January. I came down. I'll always remember the first training session that we did. It's a story me and OB always talk about. I think it was about a 3-hour training session out on the Astro at Spitty. It felt like 3 hours, bearing in mind it's my first training session in, say, 7 months.
May as well just put it on the beach.
It was that. The Astro was like on concrete, and for me, coming off a broken foot and a torn meniscus in the knee, it wasn't ideal. And we done a back 4 drill. It was Pipey, me, OB, and Sid Nelson at the time. So 4 brand new players coming into the game, into the club on the first day, and we thought, we've never played with each other before. And at the time, they then went down to Stevenage. I didn't sign at the time because I just came down for a couple of days training at the start, and we were lost. I think it was 1-0 against Stevenage back then, and then he rang me the following Monday, said, "Look, I need you to come down and play. I want you here. The club want you to come and to help us get out of the situation we're in." And I came down that week and signed the papers. I remember I went down to Bristol Rovers. We had a friendly, and I couldn't play because I hadn't signed the papers in time. So it was an odd one. We weren't happy about it because we didn't realise I would have had to have signed it the day before to be able to play in that game. We thought it'd be okay for me to play, and so I remember driving from there, didn't watch the game, and just came over to Ronnie Parade to sign the papers so I could still train and be ready for the weekend.
Can you talk to us about the team around that time and the difference that Mike Flynn made when he came in?
Yeah, obviously it was a tough place to be at the time. Obviously we were in the back of a bad run of form. It was March time, I think, but it was weird because Michael was my coach, a teammate, and a manager all in the same season. So it was different, and which made the transition sometimes easier, sometimes harder. We couldn't call him by a nickname. We couldn't call him by anything else, by a gaffer, and there was a fine if we ever did. and there was a few fines for everyone that year. So no, it was.
I love this in football because some ways football is not like any other job, is it?
Oh, it's nothing like any other job. No.
If these guys referred me as managing director, I'd find them because it's Lamsey or Ian,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Like.
So at the time, it was Flinny for us.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you supposed to get used to
And
that? Did he give you a grace period?
He gave us a little bit of a grace period. He did, and but it was always you had to be careful when you said it, and if you say, you're like, oh no, here we go, and he won't let you live it down either, because we're like, okay, that's Gaffer. We remember that. He brought hats in, and them two worked very well together. And then I always remember the meeting when the chairman came down to the training ground and told us that Graham had left and Michael was taking over, and the pressure he took all the pressure off the lads. He said, look, just go and give everything you can for the football club. He said, look, we know we're 11 points adrift of safety. Just go and give everything you can and try and put a smile back on the faces of the fans. And I think as soon as that was said, I think everyone sort of, the weight just lifted. And just to take the pressure off of us, and because I think if they tried to bring anyone else in, I don't think it would have worked.
It's such a clever move for the chairman in that moment, isn't it? Because it's panic stations, isn't it?
It is. What was it? 11, 13 games left or something like that at the time when Flinny came in. It was either you're gonna do it or you're not.
Yeah.
So, but we as players, we knew that we had to do it because who knows what would have happened. There was rumours that the club would have went down, wouldn't have survived in the National League. The stadium would have wanted to be turned into 4G, and they would have kicked us out of it. So it was always we need to do it for the community, for the club, for the county, and to keep the football going in no disrespect in Newport.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thankfully.
I was just going to say, talk us through that game, famous game now against Notts County on the last day of the season, where you famously scored the first goal.
Did I? Did I?
This is
I thought it was 1-0, wasn't it?
This is what we wanted you to say. So you've fallen into our trap because we had the first ever. Before this was even Look Back in Amber, it was called Sport Hour. Mark O'Brien was one of our first ever guests in it before we got even more closer to the club than we are now. And he is very sweet and very keen to make sure that
we always have
he got you in there.
Yeah,
so
we always say it.
It was his interview, but he basically was polite enough to say that was impressive, wasn't it? The way he did that.
Yeah, he's a class act.
He is. He's a good friend of mine.
But what was it like that day for you?
Oh, it was the longest day because obviously a 5:15 kick-off. The pressure was we just got out of the relegation zone the week before, and we thought, okay, we've actually got a chance. All the hard work's not done, but half done. We've got one game left, and we've got to try and better Hartlepool's result. And it's 90 minutes, whereas we've gone with some of the results that we managed to pull off. Well, not pull off because we deserved to win them, but the results we managed to get leading into that, we thought, right, okay, Notts County didn't really have anything to play for. We didn't know what they were going to do. But, 5:15 kick-off. A little bit later, me and Obi were at the hotel for a long time because we were both staying there from January onwards, really. And we got in normal match day warm up. We come up for the warm up, and there's 6,000 fans in front of us. Well, whoa, this hasn't happened all year. Come back out, and the whole stadium's full. We had, I think, 8,000, 9,000 there to cheer us on, which was brilliant. And for us to do that, obviously, it was strange when we obviously got the penalty very quickly. Linnell John Lewis came into the team that day back from injury, and it was just as we were going out, Flinny said to me, "Yo, you're on pens, by the way, if we get one." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." I was thinking, "Okay, that's fine. We haven't had a pen all year, so we probably won't get one there." And then what was it, half an hour in or something like that, we got one. I always remember Lenny took the ball when he wanted it, and I was like, "I'm sorry, mate, this is down to me here." And thankfully I managed to put it away. And that was it. The celebrations went, and we were thinking, okay, right, we've got a chance now. We're ahead. Now we've got to try and stay ahead. And I think it was 60th, 70th minute they managed to score. And then I always remember looking around, and the fans were going nuts. They were saying, "Come on, lads, let's go, keep going." some with tears in their eyes. We had a feeling when Flinney made, I think it was 2 subs, put 2 strikers on it, but we had 4 or 5 strikers on the pitch, and we'd got to go for it, Hartlepool or winning or something like that. And we thought, okay, this is the 84th minute or something like that. They managed to go 3-1 up, I think it was, and we were thinking, right, this is do or die now. We need to go and get it, or the club's going under. I was always surprised why OB got sent up instead of me off the back. I think I was 4 goals in April, and I was thinking, okay, no, it didn't click until after the game. I thought, well, why was he up front anyway? But thankfully he was, because if it had fallen to me on my right foot, who knows where that ball could have went. But no, when the Pipey crossed the ball, it flicked off Jacko's. Jacko flicked it, and it just sat perfectly off his chest. And look, the rest is history. And the celebrations, I still remember it now. Looking round at the fans, the whole thing was an unbelievable experience, and one that will never be forgotten.
As a player in that situation, did you know what the Hartlepool score was? Is there someone
we didn't know what it was, but we knew they were winning. We knew they were winning because you could tell by the reactions of the fans. So we knew that, and the fact that we made 2 strikers in the space of 3 minutes, realised, right, we're going for it, we have to go and win. And at that point, obviously, I'm sure someone on the bench had it, was looking at it as you would do. But and look, we managed to get ourselves out of it, and it will all go down in Newport history, won't it? So, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
We've got a few listener questions coming in, so we're going to go in with them. We're going to go in with a tougher one to start off with. Okay, So we've chucked Luke under a bus. So
nice.
Obviously,
come on, Luke.
He's young, he's fresh. You can't be too hard on him.
These are Luke's questions.
These are Luke's one. He's going to make up listener names now, starting with
David Paul Green on Facebook, I believe, said, do you think County can turn around their current home form?
Yes, we can. We can, definitely. We've got a good squad, and it's a little bit. Look, everyone's going to be disappointed the way it's going. Us players are the first ones that are. So we just need everyone to stay together. We've got a good enough squad, and a little bit of lady luck will go our way a few times. And we've been through these patches before, as players not here, but as players here, we've been through these patches before, and we find a way out of it. And I'm sure it will happen again at some point, but we've just got to concentrate, put the hard work in on the training pitch, and get the points, and they will come going. They will come. The frustrations are there for everyone to see, and it's no one's putting their foot down and not trying or anything. It's nothing to do with that, and it's just, look, we just need to go and win football games however we're going to do it, and at some point it will come good, and we know it will, because we're too good a squad for it not to happen, and we just need maybe a little bit of luck to come our way. Well, if the ball falls to someone else, or if it falls to them. So we've had that a few times. Decisions, maybe. I'm not making excuses, but they all help. So we feel when the luck's down, it doesn't go your way.
Because that's one of the many football cliches, isn't it? You hope over a season it's going to average out. So those kind of decisions that go against you, maybe unfairly, certainly at the early part of the season, might go your way a little bit later. And
exactly. That's what I mean. We've got to keep our heads up. We can't let it get to us, because I've always said you never take the highs too high, and you never get too low if it's not going your way. And at this football club, it's been a lot worse. So we need to remember that. We need to say, look, we've been in these positions, we've been in far worse positions. So let's just concentrate on where we are, take one game at a time, and we move on to it and starting Saturday.
We are kind of the kings of the naughty question every now and again, but Alison Davis has actually put one in for us. I'm going to give you the question, but I might just slightly tweak it a little bit, because I thought, that's a bit raw. So the question from Alison directly is, how do you feel about the current position in the table? You can either answer that directly, or kind of just carry on telling us a little bit more about how the team can get out of the situation. So when you say you're working hard, what's, because of course.
No, obviously, I'll answer the question first. We're disappointed where we are. Look, there's no face facts. In 6 years, we've not been there for a long time. So we know we're too good to be there, but we need to prove that. And at the moment, we haven't done. In some respects, we have, and in some respects, we haven't. We've made mistakes out in the pitch, and we need to stop that, and that will help us get 3 points for each game. So, look, working hard on the training pitch is basically looking at who we're playing, looking at how they play, and coming up with ideas how we can get around their sort of team formation, the way they play, whether or not their strikers go short or they run in behind. So we need to have a little look at how they play and what their strengths are and see if we can better that.
Yeah, because I know the manager spoke about individual errors. It's so frustrating, isn't it? Because
it is. That's something you can't amend that. It happens. It's football. At the end of the day, that is what football is all about. And if you weren't making them, without no disrespect, you probably wouldn't be here. You'd be at a higher level. If you don't make those mistakes, you'd be at a higher level because the ability's there. So there's no other reason for you not to be there unless you. Is it a lack of concentration for 1 second?
I just love the way that radio is all about the voice, and hopefully people can hear the passion in your voice. I can see that look in your eyes that you are determined.
Well, that's what I mean. We've not spent 6 years working hard to keep on doing little things that won't help the club. Well, at the end of the day, our job is to win football games, and at the moment we haven't been doing that, or as many as we want to be doing that at this stage. It's a long old season. There's still a lot of time to play, and we just need to make sure, as we always say, is one game at a time. Everything is about confidence, and that is going to help players. It's going to help the staff. It's going to help the fans. As long as we're all in it together, not separate away from it. We just going to need to stay together with it, and the good times will come back.
Right, enough of the heavy stuff. Stephen, help us out.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd bring the fun. So we had Dom Telford on previously, and we spoke about lookalikes within the squad.
Oh God!
So he was obviously quite a famous lookalike.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Peter Dinklage. So are there any current players in the squad?
We got Prince Charming from Shrek.
Have you stolen that off the chairman, or was that somebody else?
No, that was in the change room, like way before that.
So the chairman stole it off you.
Probably.
Just
he probably heard it. Yeah. He probably heard it around us with obviously Deck.
So you have to go back to that episode then and see whether he's actually claimed that as his own, or whether he's actually picked
he may have done, or we've heard it in the change room, so we said it.
Yeah, so Declan Drysdale is Prince Charming.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. Who's Shrek?
Oh, we haven't got a Shrek.
Right, sorry. I thought we said we haven't.
No, we haven't got a Shrek. That'd be slightly harsh, I think.
I'm not up front for Newport County at the moment, so we're all right.
Who else can we go?
I think that's good.
It's not a bad one, is it? I know it's obviously been said.
Panto
it's tough.
season's coming as well.
So
Very true.
Which I think we had that chat with Gavin, didn't we?
I think so.
Just that there could be a bit of a side hustle going on there.
100%.
Yeah, we're up for that. Bit of a wider footballing question from John Vaughan on Facebook. How do you feel about the use of VAR, firstly, in the Premier League, and then would you like to see it used in the lower leagues?
I don't mind it if it's used correctly and it doesn't slow the game down too much. I think if the obvious decisions that don't need it, then it doesn't need to be used. But for ones that are tight, like you could say the tight offside call that leads to a goal, then okay, fair play, use it, but I'd say it needs to be a little bit quicker. Or if the ref has to then go over, if a ref goes over to the screen, he's likely changing his mind. That's what he's already made. So I think whether or not it should be used in the lower leagues, I suppose if it is, it could be a completely different game, because a lot of things are missed, and it depends on how long it's going to take them to then get it from wherever it is down to a League 2 game, and it's going to cost a lot of money for the clubs to be able to put that in with all the cameras and stuff like that. So it'll be tough, but I'm one of those. It's football's football. Don't mess with it too much, because it takes everything away from the game.
It's still, because it does adjust, doesn't it? I remember when VAR first came in, it was that kind of, the fans are going to go and celebrate the goal, and then they have to sit back and go.
That's what I mean. And is it a goal or isn't it a goal? It's
I think we got used to that now.
We have, some have. Yes, I think it was the Champions League yesterday. It went back from a penalty. They had a penalty claim. Porto went and scored. They all celebrated. It got taken back and it got given a penalty, and then they've gone and missed a penalty. So it's like, well, if it's not seen straight away, but that's part and parcel. That is a penalty. Whereas if they go and make wrong decisions from it still, then that's when people are starting questioning it. So you're making the wrong decision still when you've got VAR. Whereas I read that the VAR was going to be in the playoff finals now.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question to you.
Well, because if you're going to randomly put in now, that could have completely changed the last two that we were in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether or not we would have gone on to win, you don't know. But if it's in there now, I don't think you can't have it just for a playoff final. If you're going to have it in it, you need to have it all league. because it could change the results during the season.
Yeah, I get the argument for it because it's such a big moment, isn't it? That fact that you could go up a league, it's everything that goes with it. Finances, the whole lot. So I get it, but I think I'm with you on it. I think it's got to be a consistent thing.
It's got to be for the whole season. If you're going to have it just for one game, you need it for the whole season. For me,
good question from John.
Yep. So I've got the big question that everybody wants to know. Is from Legman on Twitter. He says, "Who do you think would survive the longest in a zombie apocalypse?"
I actually saw that question.
You did your homework.
I did actually see that question when it got.
Yeah.
Nick Townsend. Yeah.
Yep.
He's an absolute beast. So I would say Nick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bruce, I was going to say if Kev Ellison was there, be no.
Yeah, Kev would probably do it as well. It'd be an
Yeah.
interesting one who lasts the longest out of them two as well. So
yeah.
So who would be the first to go?
Oh, I don't know. Can't answer that one. That's a tough one. That one.
Yeah.
That's an evil one. So Luke has got his first job. So we don't pay him. We're really tight here. But he's got his first paid job. He's better to get his first pay packet. It's a very big moment.
What are we gonna do with it?
Well, that's what he's going to ask you for. So we need your advice. So
no pressure.
What should Luke spend his first pay packet on? Can you remember what you did?
That was a long time ago. That. I'm
sure I bought clothes.
So it would have been something like that, or maybe a new phone if I needed one, or gone out and had a good time with your mates.
Yeah,
I think that's enjoy it.
Oh well,
you can enjoy your first one, and then you can start thinking about what to do with the rest of them. I think just go and enjoy it, but treat yourself to something nice, and then go and enjoy it with your mates. I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Final question from our listeners. This is from Daniel Halpin. Any special quirky or weird routines that you've got before the game, or nice habits as I like to call them?
The lads always say I'm very superstitious, but I'd say I've been doing it that long. It's like a routine now. Yeah. So for me, I don't agree with all of them. I think they've made them up. But no, they say I've got quite a few. If you ask Obi, I'm sure he would have mentioned I'd probably had about 14 at that point. So for me, it's just I'm that used to it. I just call it a routine, and I don't realise I'm doing it. But they always think that I am. They're weird ones, really. Because I'm left-footed, I do my left foot first.
Yeah.
Shin pads, socks, boots, always on the left-hand side of a warm-up, strangely. I don't know why. It's just I automatically go over there, being on the left-hand side of the pitch and stuff like that. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. I eat the same foods, but I don't class that as one. Eating the same foods, that's not a superstition.
Yeah.
I just enjoy my food, and if that's chicken and pesto, and I enjoy eating it before a game, and that's what I'll stick to.
I think it's all the things you've got to find out what works for you, and some of it will be kind of like superstition.
Yeah,
but a lot of it's got to do with sort of like making sure you're in a confident position before you go do it. My other job is that, believe it or not, I'm a DJ in Newport City Centre, and I've got to lay out my stuff in the same order, do the same thing, plug things in the same way. Otherwise, I feel really unsettled throughout the whole night.
But you just do it naturally.
Yeah, it's not superstition.
It's just the way you do it, and that's what I try and say. But they never let me off with that one.
You would have been aware for some, but it is other people that really pick up on.
Yeah, they do pick up because they see me doing the same things each day or each match day and stuff like that. But everyone's got their own little ones, and they'll hide it. Yeah. I always say I'm not the only one, so which I'm not. There's a few others that will do the same things.
I have to find out for the other players because I think he's protesting too much.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Fantasy Football League's just started. They do Phoenix from the Flames, where you recreate the goal. I've kind of changed it a little bit. So I'm going to ask you, is there one moment from your career that you'd love to recreate?
What, and change it or just redo it?
It's up to you. You could
Well, obviously the Great Escape one would be a nice one to recreate, just for the good times it brought to everyone in Newport.
Yeah.
Would you be closer to getting that second goal?
No.
So you're still happy that
I'm still happy that I let him take the credit. Just because he now tells that people, it was 2-1. Remember, it wasn't just 1-0. That'll be a nice one to recreate, just because of the joy it brought everyone, and obviously the pitch invasion after. It was brilliant. We had boys up on fans' shoulders. Yeah. The chants that were going on was brilliant. My debut for Shrewsbury, that'll be a nice one to recreate as well. Then the FA Cup ties that we've had, that sort of stuff, the things that will bring joy to people's faces, and that's what it's all about, really.
I know. I definitely would love to have a chat to you again about that side of things, because there's so much that we're missing out. That and the cup runs are it. I've got some just the way the city looks, it is look like a
it's
Premier
brilliant.
League
That's what
city.
I mean.
You know, it's
when
brilliant.
you've got 7,000-8,000, I'd always remember the Spurs one when we had the extension and we saw a picture from the top of the extended stand and it was like, whoa, that's quite far.
Yeah.
And people were sitting up there and it was chucking it down with rain and stuff like that. So the thing, it brings everyone together. And like I said, we had, I think it was 11,000 that day.
Yeah.
So yeah, the stuff we've managed to create at the football club has been brilliant over the last 7 years.
Yeah, you've played 250 games for county, which I believe came up against Walsall, Michael Flynn's side, which is a bit...
Yeah, that was a strange one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was very strange to see him on the other side. It
football,
does, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I got injured at the end of last season and I missed playing the last 2 games, which would have made me get it. So, yeah, and then when the fixtures came out and I saw that, I was thinking, yeah, it had to be. It was like it happened for a reason, because obviously 200 and odd were under him. So
What's the best thing about Newport County, in your opinion?
I'd say the togetherness between everyone in the club. I'd say it's a family club as well. It's a big, like, my boys I've raised my boys here. One of them's Welsh, Alfie's Welsh, and so yeah,
We're proud of that.
exactly that's
We're
what I mean.
happy with
So
that for that.
we treat everyone how we want to be treated. You can look at all the boys that have come into the teams, into the squads, the numerous loan players that we've gone and come in and they're flying with their original clubs. It just means that we're doing something right, and I think we're doing it the right way. And yeah, okay, performances may dip, but I think the core of everything at the club is doing the best that we can. And if that shows on the football pitch, which it has done in numerous times over the years, then we are doing something right. And the fans, they're always with us. Sometimes, yeah, they'll show their disappointment, but that's football. Us as players know that will happen, and we need to get them back on our side, and which we will do, and not back on our side. We need to get them back cheering throughout the games, because we're winning football games and not the odd goal.
I'm very positive that'll happen. That'll come.
Well, that everyone is, and look, everyone in the football, everyone in the change room, whether that's the staff, that's the club, the hierarchy, and stuff like that. We know it will change because we're too good not for it to change. So we know it. Little things are showing, and we've got to remember we are a new side again. We've had 10 or 11 changes again this year, so it's just taking a little bit longer to click.
And the new manager just trying to get his
yeah,
first
of course,
season
that's what
as
I mean.
well.
And we've got to realise that it may take a little bit longer. You look at the different teams that struggled at the start of last season, that went on nice runs towards the end of the season, and they got into the playoffs. They got into the top 3. Bristol got into the top 3 in the last game of the season. Doesn't matter how many times you're in it. It's just as long as you're in it in the last game of the season and you're happy. So as if we can go and put on a run like that, and they were towards the bottom in December. So look, there's plenty. Like I said before, there's plenty of games to go, and we'll be working hard to try and climb that table.
Yeah, anything's still possible, isn't it? And when I say I mean we. we absolutely believe in everything that's going on there at the moment. We're really enjoying hearing the positivity, like I mentioned earlier. Now, the good thing is, your bit is done, so you can relax for a little bit. So this is our little gift for you. Because we're so cheap, we can't buy you prezzies, Mickey. But what we do like to do is we do a little bit of research, and if we've got it right, this is going to be our little gift to you, okay? So we're a music station. We play songs from 1990 to 2019.
Nice.
And you were born in that time period.
I was, 1990.
We found out your birthday, because we're stalkers like that. It's Luke. You know, I'll believe it all on Luke.
Let's stop bus again. I'm under it. Thank you.
Steve gets
The
me on
number
the
28 bus.
Yeah.
Do you know the song that was number 1 on the day that you were born? I went old DJ then.
Cool.
Didn't you? Hey, good
No,
morning.
I do not.
this is
I
good.
don't know. No,
So it's a good gift to you. The brilliant news is it's a song that we actually play on Newport City Radio.
is it?
And it's one of my, I keep saying I got my fave song of all
Yeah.
time. I've got a million fave songs
Yeah,
of all
everyone
time.
does.
Yeah. But it's
Top
up there.
10? Do you reckon?
Oh, it's even better than that. I think it was number 1.
It was number 1.
Are you
No,
ready?
for you, I meant your top 10.
Oh God, don't think so. Just
No?
because I like a bit of housey sort of
Okay,
like
yeah.
dancey stuff, and it's just below the
that
BPM level. You ready?
I am.
Mickey Demetriou, on the day that you were born, the number 1 song in the UK was Beats International. That'd be good to me.
Oh, okay, nice.
Do you know? I should have.
I should have played
Yeah,
it. That would have
should've
helped me.
done it. Yeah.
I'll recognise it once it's played. I don't recognise it by the title, but
What we'll do before you leave today,
We'll play it
we're
and
going to
then-
Philip, our head of radio, he's going to go next door and he's going to play you the song.
Okay.
It's a cracker.
Yeah,
Is it a good one?
Yeah, it's a kind of remake of an old song.
Okay.
But
I'll probably recognise it once I've heard it.
Oh, when you hear it, you're going to go, "Gah!"
Of course it is. Of course it's that.
When you come back next time, then you can go, yep, got it. So
Listen to it, and now I stop it.
Every time that we're going to play that now, that is going to be your
My song.
Yeah, so we're going to
Perfect.
dedicate
Thank
that to you every time that we play it.
Thank you
Not
very
on
much.
non-stop, because I can't run in the studio every time
No,
we play it
you
on
can't do
non-stop.
that, no.
Certainly if it pops in on one of our shows, we're going to say, it's Mickey's song, that is. Mate, thank you very much for coming in.
No,
really
thank you very much.
appreciate it. And
Appreciate
giving up your time, especially after yesterday's game as well. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. My pleasure. Anytime.
Really great to see you soon as well. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
no problem. Thank
Mickey,
you.
dear everybody, should we give a round of applause? Should we give a round of applause? Yeah. We're turning very Steve right in the afternoon now that it's all finished. Thank you, mate.
No
Cheers.
worries. Thank you.